Baby geese follow a very predictable pattern from the yellow fuzzy phase through the gray gangly phase until they look like adult geese. And once you understand it, their behavior suddenly makes a lot more sense.
I'm Sarah with Watch Dog Goose Patrol, and since 2007, I've been helping homeowners, government agencies, golf courses, and schools manage Canada geese humanely and effectively.
Fuzzy, yellow, and kinda cute. Goslings typically hatch in late April into early May. When they first hatch, they're those bright yellow fuzzballs everyone loves. But here's what most people don't realize. At this stage, goslings stay at or very close to the nest. They sleep in their nest at night so they don't wander too far from it, and they stay tight to their parents. They are extremely vulnerable, so the parents keep them contained and protected. When they're little and yellow, goose families are not roaming far at all. They're resting and bonding at the nest site. As they grow into that 1 to 3 week range, things start to shift. Families begin taking short walks. Not far, not all over the neighborhood, just short guided movements. They're still very dependent. They still cannot fly and will not be able to for a few months. The parents are leading them to water and to safe grazing areas. So if you're seeing goslings in your yard in early May, that tells you something important. The nest is very close to your property, because at this stage they're only traveling short distances. Now here's the phase that most people think is happening earlier, but it's not. Around 3 to 6 weeks old, goslings start to lose that yellow fuzz and turn gray. This is when everything changes. Their energy increases, their confidence increases, and because they are too big to fit in the nest, they start moving farther away from their original nesting site. This is when they begin walking long distances. This is when they start showing up in neighborhoods, in yards, in parks, and on roads. This gray, awkward teenage phase is when goose families become mobile, and it's also when most homeowners start to feel overwhelmed. Now let's talk about something people see every year: goose families crossing roads. And the question is always, why don't they just fly away? Here's why. They can't. In May and June, the babies cannot fly, and the parents can't either. Adults are either in or approaching their molt, which means they lose their flight feathers. So the entire family is grounded. That means everywhere they go, they have to walk. That's why you see those long lines of geese crossing busy roads. And it's also why drivers misjudge the situation, thinking the geese will just move. They can't. So what do you do if a goose family comes into your yard? First, give them space. Pause mowing if you can, keep pets back, and let them move through. Don't try to separate the babies from the parents, and don't try to aggressively herd them, because most of the time they're not trying to move in. They're traveling through. Most goose families are just passing through your property on their way to somewhere else. Now let's talk about the part nobody loves: goose droppings. In May, it ramps up fast. You've got growing goslings and 2 adults, all eating constantly. And because they're walking more, they're leaving droppings everywhere they go. And this isn't just messy. Goose droppings can carry things like E. coli, Giardia, and Salmonella. So yes, it's cute season, but it's also messy season. Each goose can leave 1 to 3 pounds of droppings per day. Yes, per day. If you want to prevent goose families from settling into your property long-term, timing matters. You don't want to intervene when goslings are in that tiny yellow phase, but once they reach that gray stage, when they're moving more, that's your window. At that point, you can block predictable pathways, reduce easy access to grazing areas, let grass grow taller near water, and introduce visual deterrents. A dog-shaped silhouette, like the Watch Dog Goose Patrol decoy, signals to the parents that this is not a safe place for their family. And when a property feels unsafe, they move on. Finally, when does all of this end? Goslings don't learn to fly until about 10 weeks old. First, short and very low flights. That usually puts flight in late June and early July. And during that same window, the adults are molting. So you have a period where no one in the family can fly. Think of May and June as the walking month. Flying doesn't come until later.
Subscribe to our channel for more upcoming videos on managing Canada geese humanely and effectively throughout the season. Please share this video with anyone who may benefit from this information.